The cameras showed their fights, but nobody saw the family fall apart when the filming stopped. In the tough streets of Detroit, the Gold family's pawnshop business wasn't just struggling. It was breaking apart from the inside. What viewers saw on Hardcore Pawn was just the beginning of a family's big breakdown that would leave them no longer speaking to each other and their legacy in pieces. The surprising truth? The drama that millions of people watched was actually less extreme than what was really happening behind the scenes. When True TV started Hardcore Pawn in 2009, it showed viewers the high-risk world of pawnshops through American Jewelry and Loan, a huge 50,000 square foot shop in Detroit's struggling economy. The show became not just about pawning items but a gripping family story that made the Golds famous on reality TV. Les Gold, with his big personality and old-fashioned bargaining style, grew a small pawn shop into a multi-million-dollar business spanning 3 generations. His straight-talking approach to business was the backbone of the show, with sayings like either you sell it or you're buying it back becoming well known. The relationship between Les and his children, Seth and Ashley, became the show's main draw. Seth, the careful businessman with an MBA who took a safe approach to growth, represented the future of traditional pawnshops. Ashley, fierce and emotional with a psychology degree, was the heart of the business, focusing on customer relationships and the personal stories behind each item pawned. People in the pawn business noted that this brother-sister rivalry wasn't fake for TV. It came from truly different ideas about how the family business should grow in a changing market. What viewers didn't know was how deeply these work disagreements were connected to childhood issues and family tensions. Former TV producers have said they often had to stop filming when arguments got too intense for TV. One producer, who didn't want to be named, said that what aired was actually the cleaned-up version of their fights. The explosive moments shown on camera, like when Ashley threw a calculator at Seth during a fight about inventory value, or when Seth locked Ashley out of the rare coin vault, were just small parts of a breaking relationship that went beyond business disagreements. The pawn business itself created the perfect environment for family tensions. Unlike most stores, pawn shops combine high-risk money decisions with intense customer interactions, often involving desperate people. The Gold family wasn't just managing inventory, they were dealing with emotional situations daily. Each transaction involved someone's personal crisis or money problems. At its busiest, American Jewelry and Loan handled over 1,000 transactions each day, creating a non-stop environment where quick decisions determined profits. Seth's calculated approach clashed directly with Ashley's caring style, creating not just different business approaches but completely opposite workplace cultures. The problems became more obvious in Season 5, when Ashley's growing frustration with Seth's management style became clearer. In one particularly tense episode, Seth started a new inventory system, without asking Ashley, undermining her authority in front of staff. The fight that followed wasn't scripted, it was the result of years of professional disrespect. "I built this department from nothing," Ashley shouted, her voice breaking with emotion, "and you come in here with your spreadsheets like none of that matters." Trying to calm things down only made it worse by suggesting that Seth's approach was simply more modern. This comment showed Les's hidden preference for Seth's business vision, which deeply hurt Ashley. Behind the scenes, the tension grew worse because of pay disputes that were never shown on TV. According to former employees, Ashley repeatedly fought for better pay for long-term staff members, while Seth pushed for performance-based pay that focused on sales over customer service. These different views weren't just work disagreements, they showed core values that neither sibling would compromise on. Les, caught between his children, increasingly sided with Seth's business-focused approach, unintentionally pushing Ashley away. By Season 7, people in the industry noticed a big change in the family's off-camera interactions. Ashley and Seth reportedly refused to eat together during filming breaks, communicating through assistants or Les when needed. The production team began scheduling their scenes separately whenever possible, which was hard for a show centered around family dynamics. One crew member described the atmosphere as walking on eggshells, with staff taking sides in the increasingly divided business. While the show continued to show the image of a dysfunctional but ultimately united family, the reality was a business partnership about to break apart. The breaking point came during what should have been a celebration, the opening of a second shop in Pontiac, Michigan. What viewers saw was a successful expansion of the gold business. What actually happened was a power struggle that permanently damaged the family. Seth had led the expansion, designing the new location with advanced security systems and the modern inventory management system. Ashley, feeling increasingly pushed aside, was assigned to manage the original Detroit location, a move she saw as being stuck with the old business while Seth built the future. When she confronted Les about this decision, his response, "Seth has the vision for growth," confirmed her worst fears about her place in the family hierarchy. Ashley's departure from American Jewelry and Loan before the final season wasn't just a career move, it was the result of years of growing resentment and diminished influence. Her exit was sudden and painful, with some staff members not even getting to say goodbye. In later interviews, Ashley carefully described her decision as a positive step toward independence, starting her own jewelry line that focused on ethical sourcing and personal meaning, directly opposite to the high-volume, profit-focused approach that dominated American Jewelry and Loan under Seth's influence. Her podcast, Bottom Line with Ashley Gold, featured discussions about family business dynamics and the challenges women face in male-dominated industries, though she carefully avoided directly mentioning her own family conflicts. Seth's response to Ashley's departure was telling. There was basically none. No public statements wishing her well, no acknowledgement of her contributions to the business, just a businesslike announcement that American Jewelry and Loan continues to evolve. Under his leadership, the business expanded to more locations and started an online store, embracing the digital transformation that had been a source of conflict between the siblings. Employees who remained loyal to Ashley gradually left the company, creating an entirely new company culture that reflected Seth's vision: efficient, profitable, and increasingly impersonal. Les Gold's position became more complicated. As the father who had built the business from nothing, watching his children's relationship fall apart was devastating. In rare unguarded moments during later interviews, Les would occasionally reflect on the cost of success. "Building a business is one thing," he once said, "keeping a family together is another." His public appearances became less frequent, and when he did speak about the business, he focused only on its financial success rather than its family legacy. Industry colleagues noted that Les seemed diminished after Ashley's departure, as though the heart had gone out of the business he had spent decades building. The final season of Hardcore Pawn aired with noticeably less energy and authenticity. Without the tension between siblings, the show relied more heavily on customer confrontations and Les's big personality. Ratings declined, and TRU-TV canceled the series after 162 episodes, still one of the network's most successful shows, but clearly past its prime. The timing coincided with broader changes in reality television, as viewers increasingly questioned how real unscripted shows were and networks moved toward competition formats. In the years after the show ended, the Gold family members have taken very different paths. Ashley has reinvented herself as a jewelry designer and business consultant, specifically helping women entrepreneurs navigate family business dynamics. Her social media carefully creates an image of success and independence, with no references to her brother or their shared business history. Seth has expanded American Jewelry and Loan to 5 locations throughout Michigan, embracing online selling and even starting a pawn industry consulting firm. Les, now in his 70s, has a reduced role in the business, but has developed a successful speaking career, sharing his colorful life story and business philosophy with corporate audiences. The most revealing aspect of their estrangement is what remains unsaid. In interviews, each family member avoids questions about their relationships with practiced ease. Ashley speaks about moving forward and creating my own legacy. Seth discusses modernizing the family business model without acknowledging who's missing from that family. Les talks about different chapters in life, carefully avoiding mention of whether his children ever share the same room. Industry events that would naturally include all three golds are carefully scheduled to avoid overlaps, a careful avoidance that shows how deep their estrangement is. Former staff members paint a sad picture of a family that no longer exists as a unit. Holiday celebrations, once lively affairs that included extended family and key employees, are now separate events. Les reportedly maintains individual relationships with each child, but never together. The grandchildren, the next generation of potential gold business leaders, are growing up barely knowing their cousins, a family legacy broken beyond repair. What happened to the Gold family represents something deeper than a simple business disagreement or reality TV burnout. Their story shows how the pressures of public attention, financial success, and unresolved family issues can combine to destroy even the strongest family bonds. The pawn shop that once symbolized the American dream, an immigrant family building a business empire through hard work and determination, now stands as a warning about the cost of success. Business experts suggest that the Gold family's experience reflects broader challenges in family businesses, where about 70% fail to successfully transition to the second generation. The combination of business pressures, personality differences, and the distorting effect of sudden fame created a perfect storm that the Gold family couldn't survive. Their story connects with people because it touches on universal themes: sibling rivalry, parental favoritism, the conflicting demands of family and business, and the question of what makes true success. Today, American Jewelry and Loan continues as a Detroit institution, but the special chemistry that made hardcore pawn a cultural phenomenon is gone forever. The three Golds who once commanded television screens with their big personalities and explosive interactions have retreated into separate worlds, connected only by memory and a shared last name. For fans who watched their drama unfold week after week, the most shocking plot twist wasn't anything that happened on camera. It was the silent breakdown of a family when the cameras stopped rolling. The final troubling question remains: in the pawn business, everything has a price, and can be redeemed if the terms are right. But what about family bonds? Some treasures once broken may be beyond even the most skilled repair. For the Gold family, the ultimate pawn may have been their relationships with each other, and unlike the treasures in their showcases, this may be one transaction that can never be reversed.